はい、これはコースブック275ページのリーディングです。Now, the highlighted area indicates the essence of the sentences. The ones that's not highlighted, they're extra information, but I've left them out in my highlighting because they sometimes can get confused with what the focus of the sentence is. However, I will be reading them out as it is presented in the textbook, but the highlighting is only there to help you understand the text better.So let's start from the top. ニコラさん、お元気ですか？こちらでは毎日30度以上の暑い日が続いているので、あまりご飯も食べたくないです。早く秋になればいいと思いながら、毎日学校に行っています。Let's check the vocab understanding. こちらでは、こちら is a polite way of saying ここ。So Nicholas is writing from Japan, so ここ or こちら means in Japan. 毎日30度以上。Now 30度以上、以上 means more. So more than 30 degrees every day, and this is a descriptive clause that describes the next word. 暑い日、hot days が続いている。続いている comes from 続く which means to continue. Okay, it's a transitive verb. Okay, so we have to use 暑い日が続く or 続いているので、あまりご飯も食べたくないです。So how is the weather affecting Nicola? Now the next one. 毎日学校に出ます。I go to school every day. Fair enough. But when I go to school every day, this is what I do. と思いながら I'm thinking about something while I go to school every day. And the something that she thinks about is in here. 早く秋になればいい。なればいい。The potential form plus e, so the ただいい and なればいい is saying I hope, I wish something will happen. So what is she looking forward to? Continue from here. 学校は本当は夏休みですが、補習があるので、ほとんどの生徒が学校に来て一生懸命勉強しています。1学期まではクラブ活動をしていた人たちも、今はクラブを辞めて、勉強に専念しているようです。私もクラブを辞めた後、しばらくは落ち着かなかったけど、今は慣れました。Let's check the meaning from here. So, 学校は本当は夏休みですが、so really what should be happening right now with school? 本当は夏休みです。が、however, they have this thing called 補習. 補習 is not something we have in Australia, or maybe we do have allos. 補習 refers to study workshops that get carried out outside the usual school days or school hours. So 補習 is a bit like study workshops. And usually in Japan, 補習 is not for one particular subject, but it is applied across the board, across the year group. 補習があるので、ほとんどの生徒が学校に来て一生懸命勉強しています。So what do the kids do? Now, 1学期までは、okay, まで means until. So up until 1学期, the people, this is relative clause, okay? 人たち, the people who クラブ活動をしていた. Who used to do クラブ活動. What happened now? 今はクラブをやめて comes from やめる which is to quit. 勉強に専念しているようです。専念する is to focus or to concentrate. And it appears, so ようです。It appears that this is what they're doing right now. Now, this is about the school and the students in general, but how about Nicola herself? And that's the information here. 私もクラブを辞めた後、し しばらくは、the what is an optional marker here. You don't need the what to make sense of the sentence. But しばらく is a key phrase you need to understand. しばらく means for a while. Okay? For a while. しばらく落ち着かなかったけど、落ち着かなかった comes from original 落ち着かない、落ち着く。落ち着く means to feel settled down. But now 今は慣れました。It's not a potential form, but it is a very popular word in exam because it gets confused with the potential form of なります。So 慣れる as original verb means to get used to. So how is Nicola feeling about the change in her school life? Now let's move on to the next paragraph. はい、starting from here. さて、ニコラさんは将来何をしたいかもう決めましたか？私は今年の春頃からいろいろ考えてオーストラリアのホテル経営の学校に留学することにしました。Alright, let's check the definition. さて it's just another way of saying じゃ well now. So Nicola さん、もう決めましたか？もう means already. And 決めました。決める。決めます is to decide. So already, did you decide on what? 将来何をしたいか And better question. So what question are they asking about, Nicola さん？Now, Miho is saying that 私は今年の春頃から means from or since. So since when? Since 春頃. Goro is just roundabout time, okay? Marker, it means round about the time of spring. So since about the time of spring this year, いろいろ考えてオーストラリアのホテル経営マネジメントの学校に留学することにしました。I've decided to do what? So what has Miho decided to do? Let's find out what Miho's parents actually think about her decision, about with her future. 遠すぎるとかお金がかかるとか言って最初は反対していた両親もやっと賛成してくれました。Now this is a particularly tricky one because it does have a lot of vocabs that's not in your syllabus, okay? But let's read them together. Now starting with the main idea of the sentence. 最初は反対していた両親 Okay? Once again, relative clause. 両親 we're describing the parents as someone who were 反対していた。反対していた comes from 反対します which means to oppose, or to be against something. So the parents who were against it at the beginning, 最初は And why were the parents against Miho's decision at the beginning? Was because the parents say something like this. 遠すぎるとかお金がかかるとか The parents think that it's going to be too far or it's going to お金がかかる What do you think it means? So my parents who were originally against it because of these reasons, they eventually やっと they eventually 賛成 agree or they gave their consent 賛成してくれました They eventually agreed with me okay and してくれました to show appreciation and let's find out why they changed their mind 私は将来観光業界特にホテルで働きたいので大学に行くよりホテル経営の学校に行く方が 役に立つと思います。Miho wants to do in the future something to do with 観光業界. Now, 観光, we know it's sightseeing, and 業界 is a tricky word. You don't need to know that, but 業界 means industry. So, 観光業界gets translated to tourism industry, even though it literally means sightseeing industry. Okay, tourism industry. And especially where? ホテルで働きたい. I want to work there. Okay? Therefore, 大学に行くより Now, 経営 once again is management. ホテル経営の学校に行く方が useful, 役に立つと思います。役に立つ is a very, very handy expression. Okay? You can use that as a verb. 役に立ちます、役に立ちません. Okay? Is it useful? Is it not useful? Or you can use it as a mini-relative clause to describe something that is going to be handy. For example, why are you studying a foreign language? Because 外国語はとても役に立つスキルだからです。Okay? Foreign language is a very handy or useful skill. And that would be a nicer way to use it. Now, what's another reason? Let's find out later here. それに、オーストラリアの学校で勉強したら、英語も学べて一石二鳥だと思いませんか? Now, this is a rhetorical question. On top of that, in addition, okay, オーストラリアの学校で勉強したら you can what? 英語も学べて and it's a really cool word here 一石二鳥 one stone, two birds literally okay, killing two birds with one stone だと思いませんか? I'm asking Nicola, don't you think so? So what's the two birds that this one stone is killing, do you think? Alright, let's continue here. お金のことも、オーストラリア、お金のことも、okay? Also about the money, okay? オーストラリアの学校にやるのは、東京の学校にやるほど高くないと分かって、両親も反対するのを諦めました。Now this has a lot of difficult vocab, so once again let's go back. And there's also one structure in here which you don't need for your HSC continuous course. However, if you think this is handy, use it because it is quite a sophisticated one. 学校にやるのは okay? やる is another very I guess a less a less polite way of saying あげる okay? To give money. We usually use あげるto people, okay? I give it to myお母さんにあげる友達にあげる But when you're giving money to a school, okay, then お金を学校にやる okay, is more appropriate, okay? So, when it comes to money, giving to the school in Australia is in fact 高くない is in fact not expensive. It's not as expensive as giving money to the schools in Tokyo. Now, this is a new structure. Something ほど高くない usually it's a nine ending. Okay, it's not as as something. So it's not expensive as giving the money to the school in Tokyo. And それと分かって and having understood that my parents 両親も反対 once again oppose 反対するのをthey gave up 諦めました So that's why they changed their mind. それとオーストラリアに知っている人つまりニコラさんがいることも両親が安心する理由になったようです。 それと it's a little bit それに also with that there's another reason. オーストラリアに知っている人 this is mainly related to close 知っている人 is people that I know. How about people that I don't know? We have to not 知っていない人 unfortunately it's a tricky one. We have to go 知らない人. So in Australia someone is there, okay, and it's people that they know is there, and つまり means in short it's Nicholas-san. So my parents knowing that there's going to be someone that we know who's in Australia, this fact このことも両親が安心する they feel relieved, okay, 安心する理由 it's a reason. So really close here, it's the reason that my parents feel relieved. And it has become the reason, it seems. So this once again, it seems. It seems that it has become the reason that my parents will feel relieved. And what is the reason? Which is having someone that they know who lives in Australia. Tricky, isn't it? Okay, let's move on to the next sentence. Hi, from here. この学校には寮 dormitory 寮もあるそうです。だからまだオーストラリアの生活に慣れないうちに住むところを探さなくてもいいからいいです。後で実習に行くときはアパートか何か見つけなければなりませんが、その時はなんとかなるでしょう。Now what's more? What's in this school? 寮 dormitory. And so this, I heard. And therefore, what's the benefit of that? The benefit is that something うちに while, okay? We know うちに is while. However, when you have a nai, okay, a nai form in front of うちに, if you translate it literally, it gets a little bit awkward, okay? In English, a more natural translation would be before you are able to whatever, okay? So therefore, before you are able to 慣れない comes from 慣れる which is to get used to. So before you get used to オーストラリアの生活 or while you are not yet used to the lifestyle in Australia, then 探さなくてもいい。探す to look for. 探さなくてもいい。You don't have to do something. And what is that? And because of that, it's actually a good idea. Now, 後で means afterwards, and 実習 is not a word you need to know, but 実習 is a practicum. 実習に行くときは so in the future, when I study at the hotel management school, 実習に行くときは I had to look for a part or something, okay? 見つけなければなりませんが but その時 referring to the time when I have to do the prac, I have to look for a place to stay, なんとかなるでしょう. Now, なんとかなる is a very tricky phrase. It's an idiomatic expression which simply means, I'll think of something. Something will come up. It's a bit like que sera sera. Okay? What will be. Some solution will pop up. So, なんとかなる. I don't know what, but somehow it'll be alright. Okay, so very, very natural expression. なんとかなるでしょう. I think something will eventuate. なんとかなると思います. はい、let's continue. 今月末までにこの学校に書類を出さなければなりません. Now vocab check. 今月 is this month and 末 is the same as 週末. So what do you think 今月末 is? Now までに once again a tricky one. まで is up until. However, までに means by a particular deadline. So by when I must do something. I must 出さなければなりません. And 書類. It's a hard word. You don't need to know that for your syllabus, but it's paperwork. So by the end of, by a particular time, I have to do something to the school. What is it? Now, 結果は now 結果 is results. Okay, so let's continue with the next sentence. 結果は9月の終わりまでにわかるはずです。次にニコラさんに手紙を書くときは、ぜひオーストラリアに留学することになりましたと書きたいです。So as for the results, 結果は the results 9月の終わりまでに So once again までに is by a particular time. So by when's 終わり9月の終わり So by this particular time わかるはずです Expectation I should know the results by when Now 月にニコラさんに手紙を書くときThe time, so next time when I write Nicola you a letter, I want to write this, which is a quotation mark. Now this is a tricky one to interpret. I want to write, by all means, ぜひ for sure. I definitely want to write this to you and basically informing you that オーストラリアに留学することになりました。Okay, what do you think that's saying? はい、let's continue. ニコラさんも試験勉強頑張ってね。鳥居さんと犬丸さんと花田さんがニコラさんによろしくと言っていました。じゃあ今日はこれでさようなら。8月10日、ニコラ様。美穂より。Now, let's look at the meaning. Now, ニコさん、試験勉強頑張ってね。You should know what that means. Now, these are just names of the common friends, I believe. 鳥居さん、犬丸さん、and 花田さん。They said something と言っていました。They said, ニコラさんによろしく。Now, in English, we say, oh, please say my regards to someone. In Japanese, you simply say, oh, yeah, to Nicola, can you just say yoroshiku from us? Okay, we're not saying nice to meet you in here. We're just saying, yeah, just send our regards. Okay, it's a very nice expression to write at the end of your letter. Okay, if in your letter, rather than quoting what your friends want to do, okay, if instead of saying, yeah, Torii, Inumaru, and Hanada wants to send you their regards, if you want to simply say, oh, please send my regard to, for example, Kevin-san. You can simply write, Kevin-sanによろしくと言ってください. Please say よろしく to Kevin-san for me. Alright, I hope this helps. And let's move on to the next task.